We might be running blind tonight.
We're at 7:02 and call the meeting of Wyomissing Borough Council to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Brenner?
Here.
Councilmember Senko?
Here.
Councilmember Reiner?
Here.
Councilmember Mobile?
Here.
Councilmember Barnett? Here. Councilmember Weinhopper?
Here.
And Council President James.
Here. Okay, before tonight's meeting, we had an executive session where real estate matters were discussed as well as some legal matters. Okay, this time we'll open it up to public comments as they relate to agenda items. Are there any public comments? Hearing none, move on. Okay, you have in your packet the June 11 council minutes, and are there any amendments that need to be made?
I'll make a motion to approve. Second.
Motion and second to approve. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Consulting engineers report, Mr. McCarthy.
Good evening. Tonight. Happy 4th of July late.
Yes.
The one thing we have under my report is the council to take action on the Stonehouse bids. The lowest qualified bidder for that project was Construction Master Services from Moton Spring Township in the amount of $534,212.20. That's below the budgeted amount. If we recall, this was going to bypass infrastructure, go directly to council due to timing of construction and trying to get in and out of there as quickly as possible, least amount of our disruption, and obviously getting started earlier. Summer is better than later in the year.
And that would be, anticipated completion, Jim, is?
They plan on everything done October, before the asphalt plants close. So they're actually prepared to start next week.
Okay. Motion, I make a motion that we approve Construction Master Services for the amount that Jim mentioned.
Second.
The amount is $534,212.20.
Correct.
Okay, roll call, please.
Councilmember Brenner?
Yes.
Councilmember Senko?
Yes.
Councilmember Reiner?
Yes.
Councilmember Mobile?
Yes.
Councilmember Barnett? Yes. Councilmember Weinhopper?
Yes.
And Council President James.
Yes.
Otherwise, everything else is in my report unless you have any specific questions.
Any questions for Mr. McCarthy?
I'll make a motion to approve the engineer's report.
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thanks, Jim.
Thank you.
Police chief and mayor's report. Chief Phillips.
Oh, I'll interrupt
And Mayor.
first and go and say that the chief, of course, will be glad to answer your respective questions. I did want to mention that I'm very pleased to say that I had the pleasure 2 weeks ago, I guess it was, to attend our new officer Cooper Henry's graduation from the Reading Police Academy of the Wall area. He's a close local guy coming from the Moton area, graduated from Alvernia, and I, along with Chief, our lieutenant, a couple of our training officers, were able to watch his graduation. Very nice. A couple days later, I had the pleasure of swearing him in. Now, I will also announce, though, that the chief put in the work before I swore him in. We had an incident up on the bypass, and he had him up there collecting evidence before we actually were able to perform our little ceremony in the afternoon. In any event, I believe that Officer Henry is going to be a credit to this department. He's a really nice, bright young man, and I think has an opportunity to be with us a long time. And I is, and feel very strongly he's going to be an asset. So when you have an opportunity, please say a word to Officer Henry. Chief?
Good evening, everyone. Before I get started with my report, I'd like to mention the incident that the mayor was speaking about. I'm sure you all heard we had a shooting on the bypass on July 1st. I'm happy to announce as of today, we've made an arrest of 2 individuals. Our detectives have been working on this case pretty much nonstop since then. I've been working on a press release, waiting to put it out till tomorrow. This was happening today, and I don't know if they've even seen a judge yet at Central Processing. But I know I'll check tomorrow morning so I can put their names out and everything, and what their bail would be. But they worked pretty much nonstop on that case since then, and like I said, they arrested 2 individuals today. So I just want to point out that they're doing a lot of good work, and I don't want to go into the particulars on how they came about solving this, but I will say that an investment by this borough over the years has helped, and it has helped many times in our investigations, but that investment and its success over the last year, I've had many chiefs come to me and asking about the investments we've made, and they've started doing it in their communities, which, because of that, really helped us in this case. So we're once again leading the way, and all the communities are starting to get involved in doing this, and it's paying off in dividends. So I want to thank you again for what you've done to help us with this. So like I said, tomorrow afternoon I would suspect individuals' names will be released and everything by news, so you'll be able to see it. For the month of June, we were available for service 3,722 hours. We handled 776 calls for service last month. When the lieutenant sat in for me, he told you in May we handled 854. That was the highest month ever. Well, June was our 2nd highest month, so we've had a busy start to our summer this year. Our business districts accounted for 171 calls, or 22%. Our residential communities were 19 calls at 2.4%. Took us an average of 4.36 minutes to arrive on location, and we averaged just over 21 minutes on each assignment. Training for the month consisted of hostage negotiations, phase 3, interview and interrogation, managing the property and evidence room, stop and bleed, and split-second decisions, the use of force, and conducting the complete traffic stop. Our Police 1 Academy training consisted of highway incident safety guidelines for emergency responders, working on the highways, and how dangerous it is, basically what that amounted to. We gave assistance 42 times and received it 17 times throughout the month. Traffic signs have been up. They were on Parkside Drive North this past month, one in the area of the pool, the other in the area of Stonehouse. It's a 25-mile-an-hour zone through there. In the area of the pool, the 85th percentile was 28.76, and at the Stonehouse it was found to be 34.7. I don't normally bring up specific incidents throughout the month, and occasionally I do, but I put 2 on this instance, or on this report, for a reason. When I first started here, the senior officers at the time told me, no matter what, they always end up here in Wyomissing. Well, on those 2 dates, it was our prime examples of that. On the 19th, on our basic traffic stop, we ended up taking a person into custody that was wanted for a shooting in Delaware. And then on the 27th, we took that person into custody that was wanted for a homicide in New Jersey. That one was a little bit more work, as our detectives worked with detectives out of New Jersey with completing a search warrant on a vehicle that was here, and then doing the search and turning over all evidence to the detective. So they, for some reason, always seem to end up here. I don't know why that is. And then, as the mayor stated, our Officer Henry has graduated from the academy. He is sworn in, and he is in his FTO training right now. Our Incidents for the, top incidents for the month, traffic stops again, as always, is well above everything else. It's about 4 times greater than the next one in burglar alarms. So they're out there enforcing the vehicle code. We had 49 total crashes, 329 citations, warnings, and parking citations were issued. We made 26 arrests. We dealt with 4 wanted individuals, 22 Part 1 and Part 2 UCR offenses, which made our regular calls for service at 754. I have a breakdown of the UCRs, as I always do. You can see now for the year we're at 220 with 184 cleared, so we're back up to our 84%. We went back up after going down to 80 last month. Something that I wanted to point out with this comparison, I was looking at, because now we're halfway through the year. When I do the annual reports, you'll see a section in there, if you remember, for our UCRs, it goes back about 20 years. And our numbers have steadily been falling. And then as with the rest of the nation, when COVID hit, we all saw a bit of a spike and we went up a bit. And then last year was pretty much the same as 2022. It was 3 calls less of UCR offenses. So at 220 calls for halfway through the year that are UCR reportable offenses, that puts us down from 301 that we had last year, 336 in 2022. We had 230 in 2021 and 213 in 2020. So what I like to see, or be able to say is, it looks like, I mean, we're only halfway through the year, and 1 year doesn't make a trend, but it looks like we're starting to go back to less crime occurring. But what we're also doing is, what crime is occurring, we're solving at a greater rate. So they're doing a heck of a job out there with everybody that's in patrol and our detectives. We use just over 1,100 gallons of fuel and patrol just under 12,000 miles throughout the borough. Between all of the fines and alarm or request reports and such, we've brought in about $7,500 to the borough. Our busiest time during the month was during the 7 o'clock in the evening hour at 70 calls during that hour. Saturday and Sunday were our busiest days at 124 each. And as far as arrests go, domestics and narcotics incidents were the 2 that we made the most arrests with, and Saturday was our busiest day at 7 total arrests were made during Saturday. I have at the end there the reports for the speed signs that are up on Parkside Drive North. So if anybody has any questions, I would be glad to answer them.
Any questions for the chief?
Do we get a lot of calls about fireworks?
We got some. I don't think many people call anymore. We got some calls. We had some calls where our officers found them. We basically make them stop. We did not make any arrests or issue citations for them.
My kid's calling, he wasn't here. How was the 3rd and 4th of July overall?
Well, we were busy.
Any major incidents that I remember?
No, I wouldn't say anything major, just a lot of calls.
Seems like you guys did a tremendous job organizing operations, blocking off markets.
Well, I've discussed with Randy and Fire Chief, and we were talking about it with Greg as you were away, that I estimate that we had about 30,000 people watching that parade, as I was leading it and seeing. Girard Avenue to me technically is thinner, but that was packed with people. Each year I've been buying more candy and I still run out by the time we get to the end. And by Girard I had to start, we were being sparing with what we were throwing out. So we had some for Wyomissing Boulevard, but my wife and son are the ones that are throwing it out, and we ran out. I had 20 bags, 300 piece candy, and it wasn't enough. So I may have to buy more again for next year.
30 next year.
Yeah. It just seems like these last few years, over the years of working the parade, every once in a while I drove our evidence truck. But for the most part, if I worked it, I was stationed in one location, so I don't see how many people. But it just seems to me that a lot of people, since we came back after COVID, keeps going up each year. So kudos to the board and committee that, I'm sure Randy will talk about it when he gets to his report, but they do a fantastic job. But one of the things, because of the amount of people, I think we need to do a little bit more with incident command type structure with this, seeing how we might be able to do a few other things to make sure everybody's safe. And I'd like to, as the committee is planning the event next year, I would like us, I think Tony said he would like to be involved, our maintenance people to be involved in, as we plan this, how we can work together to make sure they get everything that they need, but then we're doing what we need to do to make sure everybody's safe. So, I'm looking to do that, like I said, as of starting next year.
Very good. Anything else for the chief? Thank you, and I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion is second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Fire chief's report, Chief Holmes.
Good evening, council. June was a record month for the fire department. We ended up responding to 178 incidents. 103 of those were here in the borough, 75 were mutual aid given. Out of those calls, 33 were QRS medical calls with 11 patient contacts. We have year-to-date provided 0 Narcan delivery, and for the month of June, the staff completed 94.5 hours of training. The average turnout time was 1 minute and 45 seconds, with 5.1 personnel responding to incidents. Comparison between where we are year-to-date from 2023 to 2024. In 23, we ran 568 incidents here in the borough, and this year we're sitting at 513. We're down approximately 10%, which is a good variable, or variance in our responses here in the borough. Year to date for fire loss, we're sitting around 18,450. We've had a string here in June of a couple of structural fires and vehicle fires that have caused that to go up. We also started the wellness program again in June with our wellness coordinator coming to the firehouse 3 times. He's well received by all of the staff. And we're starting up again here in the end of July with a more focused program 3 days a week for 5 weeks. That'll be beginning on July 22nd, which is also the first day for the 3 probationary firefighters that we're bringing on board. In June, we did a total of 60 inspections. Year to date, we're at 377. And with our ISO training requirements, we've amassed 686.5 or a quarter hours year to date.
You don't have to read the whole preamble.
I don't have to read the whole preamble? Okay. I'm presenting ordinance number 1444-2024, which was brought up at last council meeting in May, June. Yeah, June's council meeting for advertisement. Respectfully asking for a motion to table, approve, or deny adopting that ordinance.
Okay. Second. We have a motion and a second to adopt ordinance number 1444-2024 as it relates to the fire service and distinguishment of separation from Spring Township. We have a motion second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. The ordinance is enacted.
Good. Thank you.
That's all I have for my report. If anybody has any questions, more than happy to answer.
Questions for the fire chief?
Thank you.
Okay, hearing none, entertain a motion to approve.
So, second.
Motion and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Infrastructure, Mr. Brunner.
1 second to get back to my. All right. During the infrastructure committee meeting on June 17th, there's a few things we need to approve or try to approve. One discussion we did have that's not on this that I think we need to bring up is Western Berks Water Authority was in giving us the red flag on water and usage of water and the lack thereof, and therefore translating to a increase in the water rates as early as, well, not as early as coming next year. So just think that we need to understand what's going on. We lost some businesses that use a lot of water and we're just not using the amount of water that we have in the past. Getting on to the items at hand here though, the committee is making a recommendation to authorize payment application number 2 in the amount of $301,903.81 to Construction Master Services. I'll go ahead and make that recommendation.
Second.
Motion and second, roll call please.
Councilmember Brunner?
Yes.
Councilmember Stanko?
Yes.
Councilmember Reimer?
Yes.
Councilmember Vogel?
Yes.
Councilmember Barnett?
Yes.
Councilmember Weinhopper?
Yes.
And Council President James?
Yes.
Okay. Committee's recommendation to approve change order number 1 in the amount of $6,000 to Construction Master Services LLC for the pedestrian bridge in Cambridge Avenue Culvert project. I'll go ahead and make that motion.
Second.
Motion and second, roll call please.
Councilmember Brunner?
Yes.
Councilmember Stanko?
Yes.
Councilmember Reimer?
Yes.
Councilmember Vogel?
Yes.
Councilmember Barnett?
Yes.
Councilmember Weinhopper?
Yes.
And Council President James?
Yes.
Okay. Moving on to the public garage. And Jim, do you want to give us an update on that quick?
Construction's still going on. It's mostly interior at this point. If I were to guess, we could start moving some items in there mid-September, would be my guess. I would say completion would be more end of the year at this point.
Make sure you have a good spot for those leaf sucker rubbers. All right,
But
so,
we're hoping we don't we don't have to move items during leaf season. That would not be good. So we're trying to push them along a little bit.
all right, so the committee's making a recommendation to authorize payment, application number 7, the amount of $149,083.01 to Baltic Construction for the Public Works Facility using the Tompkins General Obligation Note.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion and second, roll call please.
Councilmember Brunner?
I abstain due to my employment at Tompkins Financial.
Councilmember Stanko?
Yes.
Councilmember Reimer?
Yes.
Councilmember Vogel?
Yes.
Councilmember Barnett?
Yes.
Councilmember Weinhopper?
Yes.
And Council President James?
Yes.
Okay, committee's making a recommendation to authorize payment application number 2 in the amount of $120,373.64 to Garden Spot Electric, Inc. for the Public Works Facility using the Tompkins General Obligation Note.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second, roll call.
Councilmember Brunner?
I abstained for the same reason.
Councilmember Stanko?
Yes.
Councilmember Reimer?
Yes.
Councilmember Vogel?
Yes.
Councilmember Barnett?
Yes.
Councilmember Weinhopper?
Yes.
And Council President James?
Yes.
The committee is making a recommendation to approve authorizing payment application number 3 in the amount of $54,592.01 to A.H. Moyer, Inc. for plumbing services for the Public Works Facility using the Tompkins General Obligation Note. So moved.
Second.
Motion and second, roll call please.
Councilmember Brunner?
I abstain.
Councilmember Stanko?
Yes.
Councilmember Reimer?
Yes.
Councilmember Vogel?
Yes.
Councilmember Barnett?
Yes.
Councilmember Weinhopper?
Yes.
And Council President James?
Yes.
Committee is making a recommendation to authorize payment application number 2 in the amount of $40,230 even to A.H. Moyer for HVAC services for the Public Works Facility using the Tompkins General Obligation Note.
Motion.
I'm not making a motion.
This was so. Second.
Motion and second, roll call?
Councilmember Brenner,
I abstain.
Councilmember Stanko,
Yes.
Councilmember Warner,
Yes.
Councilmember Vogel,
Yes.
Councilmember Barnett, Councilmember Weinhofer.
Yes.
And Council President James.
Yes.
Committee's making a recommendation to authorize payment application number 2 in the amount of $29,925 to Accelerated Fire Protection, Inc. for fire protection services for the Public Works Facility using the Tompkins General Obligation Note.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second, roll call?
Councilmember Brenner,
I abstain again.
Councilmember Stanko,
Yes.
Councilmember Reimer,
Yes.
Councilmember Vogel,
Yes.
Councilmember Barnett, Councilmember Weinhofer.
Yes.
And Council President James.
Yes.
Committee's also making a recommendation for payment application number 3 in the amount of $53,889 to S.J. Thomas Company, Inc. for the pool repairs, and I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion and second, roll call, please.
Councilmember Brenner,
Yes.
Councilmember Stanko,
Yes.
Councilmember Reimer,
Yes.
Councilmember Vogel,
Yes.
Councilmember Barnett, Councilmember Weinhofer.
Yes.
And Council President James.
Yes.
I would
Steve,
make,
I think we skipped number 6. There's 2 AH warrants. Did we do both of them? We did the one for 40,000 and for 54.
Yeah.
we did, right, wasn't it?
Yep, good.
Should we use this
Oh,
as
no,
a-
I didn't circle one.
I'll make a motion to approve the
It's not
infrastructure
circled, we
committee
didn't
report.
know.
Motion and second to approve the infrastructure report. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, sir. Moving on to Personnel Committee, Mr. Mogul.
Thank you. We met on June 18, 2024. There are 3 action items. This motion is needed to accept the deputy fire chief position description. That recommendation is being made by the Personnel Committee to council, and I will make that motion.
Second.
We have a motion and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Second is, Personnel Committee is asking the council to adopt a motion accepting the retirement notice of Detective Darren Anders effective July 23, 2024, and I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
And related thereto, the committee is making a motion, would like the council to make a motion authorizing the agreement with Detective Darren Anders, post-employment effective July 23, 2024, subject to the comments recommended by the committee and the satisfactory language determined by the borough solicitor. Every one of you should have received that packet. So I'll go ahead and make that motion as well.
Motion and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
I make a motion to approve the balance of the personnel committee report.
Motion and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. Recreation Board, did you guys do anything, Mr.
It
Reno?
was a quiet month for us. Firstly, before I kick it over to Randy, as always, I just want to thank everyone who was involved. We really make it work by having so many people who are ready to jump in and lend a hand, as well as our staff, not only our police, our fire, our playground staff, our maintenance folks, everyone who really pulls it together, as well as our administration and staff. We really appreciate all the support we get from you guys, and it really just helps us as the rec board continue to do what we do. So with that, I'll turn it over to Randy.
Thank you, nice seeing everybody again. Everybody was right, 4th of July was definitely an eye-opening experience, seeing it from a different side. Like Rick said, thanks to everybody, because it's a total team effort. People were just showing up out of nowhere, and jobs would pop up, and somebody would go, oh, I got it, don't worry about it, I'll take care of it. So I'm thankful for everybody. Right now, we're gathering or collecting positives and could be betters. I think that's key with all of our events, is after we're done, is what can we do better for next time. Chief Phillips is right. I walked from the check-in station down to the Stonehouse, and I was shocked at how many people I had seen. I've only been to 3 parades, and I just was overwhelmed by the number of people when I walked down Wyomissing Boulevard. So I think safety is a big issue. We had one injury at the Stonehouse. A girl was in the bounce house, came out and got sick, overheated, and we had that EMS come down. I think that's one of the big things we need to look at is how can we be safer for the community. It's not always about bigger and better, but it's also safety plays a big role in that. So I think that's something we really have to take note of. So finishing up the cleanup and organizing, that's a big part of it. One thing I learned this year was we had stuff everywhere. To know what we actually own and what we don't have is tough, so the cleanup is a big part of that. Summer concert series, last couple of weeks we had Frank Sinatra show. 350 people showed up at the Stonehouse. The guy was unbelievable. We had so much positive feedback from him. Next week we have the Ringgold Band and the Children's Lantern Parade, which is another new thing for me. I don't know much about the Children's Lantern Parade, but I'll learn a lot. After that, we've got the Reading Pops Orchestra, which will be a location change. Originally, when the rec guide was written, it mentioned being at the Stonehouse, but with the ADA project, we've had to move that to the quarry fields. And lastly, to wind up for that, it will be the wonton soups on August 24th as an in-summer party. Rentals for the month of, since we last met, was $2,000 even. The playground program as a whole, we're down 51 people registration-wise. Over the last 3 weeks, we decided to not close it because of the popularity of it. We continued to let people register for playground. We had plenty of staff, we had plenty of supplies, so we opened it back up and we gained about 15 people by doing that. We're still down 51 people year-to-date versus last year, but when you take into consideration what happened with Tot Lot, those numbers are still great. As you guys have probably gotten on your phones and your watches, the weather alerts and air quality alerts, we've had to make some adjustments to our schedule last week and again this week. So we're paying close attention to that with the safety of the kids and the counselors. The pool memberships, last year, year-to-date, we were at 409. This year, we're at 421. So we're up on pool memberships. Swimnastics is at 16 participants. Swim lessons is at 48, and tennis is at 16. All of those are up slightly, but nothing, to shout about. 2 or 3 people here and there, but for the most part, they're all up. Other than that, that's all I really have, unless you have any questions.
Good job. Yeah. Job well done.
And I think, I'm big into, teamwork and we all got to work together as a team. And I think that everyone in this room tonight somehow was involved in pulling off a spectacular parade, whether on a minimum basis or on a higher level basis. Police, fire, EMS, rec, public works, everyone, the Borough Hall staff, everyone is working together. And I think it's a great demonstration of what, when we do work together, what we can pull off. So, but I commend you and the rec department for a job very well done.
Thank you.
I'd like to mention that we have a bunch of World War II vets, and they're increasingly difficult to get. These guys are really getting up in years, and it's difficult for them, but they were extraordinarily appreciative of the reception they got along the parade route. People applauding them. So our Grand Marshal, I'm still stunned by this, was a gentleman who in the last year or so has moved into the Highlands, so he's a borough resident, flew 28 missions over Europe as a tail gunner on a B-17 and lived to tell the story. I mean, it's just astonishing that he was able to accomplish that. And unfortunately, he's become rather frail, and it was difficult to really acknowledge him as well as he deserved. But what a guy. Well, they didn't Paul Wildenfeld.
To put it in perspective about these guys, one of them passed away since the parade. I talked to Tyler about it, and it's such a sad story. it's almost like losing your great grandfather once a week. There's been 4 since Memorial Day and 1 since the 4th of July parade. It's a horrible feeling, and it's something that this young kid copes with. He's doing some remarkable work with the organization he's with, but on the backside of it is the loss, so.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the record.
Wait, Rick, you have anything else to?
Nope, nothing else.
Okay. Okay, we have a motion to approve. Is there a second? Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. Okay, the Fire and Police Committee met on June 24th. Pretty much, police chief and the fire chief has alluded to most things that are on the report, so it's pretty much self-explanatory, but we do have some action items. And the first item being that the committee has made a motion and a recommendation, and I'll make the motion that we approve retroactive offer letter sent to Harry Horn Jr. For entry-level firefighter position.
Second.
We have a motion and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. The committee has recommended that we authorize the advertisement of the open hiring process to hire a deputy fire chief for the Wyomissing Fire Department, and I will make that motion.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Oh, we're just zipping right through. And
I'll make a motion to approve the fire police.
thank you.
Second.
Motion second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. Okay, moving on to the Park and Shade Tree Commission. Mrs. Reiner.
Thank you, sir. Park and Shade Tree Commission met on June 26th in the parklands on site. We had the commission members there, Jim and Greg and Dwayne all joined us. Melissa took excellent notes while walking. I was very impressed. Larry basically led us through the parklands and pointed out the good, bad, and ugly. Sort of gave us an overview of what's going on and what they are going to be focusing on in the report. We talked about riparian buffers, shade trees along the creek to improve the oxygenation and habitat of the creek, all kinds of stuff. Crosswalk at Cambridge, which I know has been discussed before. But yeah, it was an interesting walking tour.
So what's going to be the next step now?
They're going to put a report together for us of what they see, the invasives, the riparian buffers, what needs to be done, what their recommendations are, and we will just take that and do with it what we want, what we can, what we see we have time and money for, what can be done.
Will they prioritize what needs to be done?
They are prioritizing the invasive species. Like you can think there's a bunch of honeysuckle there, which is invasive, but it's also doing a great job holding back the creek bank in some areas. So that's something you could sort of let go. But there's other really invasive things that are spreading very quickly and should be dealt with. But they're looking at everything down to like trash cans and recycling bins and like all kinds of stuff. So they'll have a pretty thorough report for us too.
And just so it's clear, the fact that things are higher priority doesn't necessarily mean that they would be done first. As you pointed out, there are a lot of less expensive things which we could knock out and still make a decent impact.
Right.
And there are opportunities for the school district, for the neighbors, Gulf Streams Journal, to get things done for mutual benefit.
Yeah, we talked about some grants that would be better received if the school board and the borough would be on board together. Those type of things, stuff like that.
Bill, okay for me.
Jen, does their plan include recommendations for the kiosks and things like that
Yeah.
along the trail?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep, they talked about, educational aspects and plants and they talked about everything. I think it's gonna be a really thorough report. I look forward to reading it.
Good.
That's all I have.
Looking forward to seeing it.
I'll make a motion to approve the Park and Shade Tree Commission report.
Second.
Motion and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you very much. Economic Development, Mr. Mayor.
Our committee met on Thursday, June 27th. We had visitors from West Reading, our colleagues in West Reading that we've long had a strong association with, came by. They have a new Main Street manager. Nick Price is his name. I'm sure you'll meet him at some point in time. He's actually formerly a realtor that I know in the real estate business. But he was there along with one of the representatives from the borough, Mark Dockery, and they updated us on some things that they're doing, and we continue to seek ways that we can work cooperatively with them. This has become a little bit more of a focus, I think, for us in the sense that our long-awaited retail area along Hill Avenue at the Wyomissing Square development has finally come online. And I have to commend the developers there, particularly John Connors and Greg Heflin from Brickstone, developers that stuck to their guns. They wanted to make that place special and not just fill it up with any old tenant that came along. And they did, and they really ended up with a neat place. If you haven't been down there to take in one of the restaurants or other facilities, you really ought to. And I highly endorse, along with, I'm sure, Mr. Werner, the Primo Hoagies that's open in Huntington. They are different. They are not a threat to our old friends at D&S and Strepsies. I'm telling you, it's a different sort of sandwich, but they are excellent, absolutely excellent. We also, along the block there where those new stores are, we had a visit from the Deputy Secretary of Community and Economic Development. He's not Deputy Secretary of State, as our minutes indicate. He's the Deputy Secretary of Community and Economic Development. And we introduced him to what we did there, highlighted how we have worked cooperatively along with West Reading. Michelle did a great job of organizing a tour to some of the facilities in the block, as well as going up to Kimberton Whole Foods, and gave him a good look, and of course pitched him on getting a bridge over the railroad tracks to connect the Drexel Medical School into the campus. So we had a good meeting with him. We also Michelle updated us on some of our other properties that we've long been concerned about. The work is progressing at the former Inn at Reading. Work is underway at the former Crown Plaza Hotel with reopening. I hope to expect to see that happen before the end of the year. And there is a developer now with an agreement of sale on the mall. So they are working diligently on bringing some plans to fruition that we will have an opportunity to comment on in the, I hope, the not too distant future. So there's a lot of good projects going on. As I've said countless times, people think of the borough as these tree-lined streets of residences, but it's this commercial stuff that pays the bills. And I believe very sincerely that we're doing really well. We are more than holding our own in relation to the rest of the county, so it's coming along well.
What about Murphy's?
What's that?
Murphy.
Yes, good point, Ron. The former Heck Brothers florist is going to be repurposed into a Murphy jewelry store, and also expects to open before the end of the year. That'll be a good addition. They're a high-end jewelry.
Thank you. Any questions for the mayor? Not, entertain a motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
Motion and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Borough Manager's Report.
Good
Mrs.
evening.
Bear.
Good evening, Council. I have not received the Western Berks Water Authority Board meeting minutes or the JMA meeting minutes, but as soon as we do receive those, they will be passed out to you with your next council packet. I'm respectfully requesting a motion to approve authorizing reimbursement to Orthopedic Associates of Reading in the amount of $4,518.40 for cost incurred to investigate what was thought to be a private water leak that instead was a faulty water meter that has been irrefutably proven to be a faulty meter.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Let's do a roll call on that, please.
Councilmember Brenner,
Yes.
Councilmember Stanko,
Yes.
Councilmember Reimer,
Yes.
Councilmember Mogul,
Yes.
Councilmember Barnett,
Yes.
Councilmember Weinhopper.
Yes.
And Council President James.
Yes.
Coming out of the infrastructure committee, there was discussion about a property at 524 Douglas Street. Final warning letter, so to speak, has been sent to the property owner indicating they have until the end of July to comply with the zoning and property maintenance code enforcement notices. Otherwise, I'm respectfully requesting a motion to authorize the borough solicitor to file for an injunction against the owner of 524 Douglas Street, which would allow the borough to enter private property to clean up and remove items that are in violation of the property maintenance code per the enforcement notice sent to the owner in January of 2023.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
I'm respectfully requesting a motion to authorize the business manager to draw on the Tompkins General Obligation Note in the amount of $433,983.54 for payment applications for the Public Works Garage project for construction, electric, plumbing, mechanical, fire protection, as discussed at the June Infrastructure Committee meeting, and those motions were just previously approved by you.
So moved.
Second.
I abstain. Motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Brenner,
I abstain.
Councilmember Stanko,
Yes.
Councilmember Reimer,
Yes.
Councilmember Mogul,
Yes.
Councilmember Barnett,
Yes.
Councilmember Weinhopper.
Yes.
And Council President James.
Yes.
In exciting news, the following items were recently sold on Municipid for a total of $16,582. A skid steer, another skid steer plow, a skid steer broom, a Miller stick welder, a leaf collection box, a Boss 9-foot plow, a concrete hammer, which I'm dying to know exactly what that is, an ODB leaf collector, and another skid steer plow.
So we're gonna spend the
Look at that, you got money.
Not a lot, but yes. I was
Nothing to move there.
I was going to
Move except your paper.
It's already done.
I was just going to say on top of that, it is always an honor and a privilege to me to see the community come together for the 4th, not just the departments, but council, the mayor, and then to see so many residents and non-residents out there celebrating and, you know, truly putting everything else to the side for the day and just focusing on what's important. So thank you to all staff, thank you to all of you council members and the mayor for making time. It's really an amazing thing to see.
Entertain a motion to accept the borough manager's report.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay. In your packet, you have the treasurer statement of operation, general fund, Bureau of Water, the sewer fund, highway aid, refuge recycling fund, and the road tax fund. And tonight we have our treasurer, Mr. Reeser, with us.
Pleasure to be here, thank you, Mr. President. For the month of June, we spent more than we received by the amount of $40,000, so I wouldn't be too concerned about that. Year to date, we have spent about received 16.3 million and received, and spent 13.1. So for year to date, we have a favorable variance of over $3 million. Revenues over expenses year to date. That compares to our budget through June of about $2 million. So we're about $1.2 million ahead of the budget, which is great. It's great going into the second half of the year like that. However, we are spending a lot of money. So don't think that we have all this extra money, but we're in great shape financially. Our overall fund balance is about $14,700,000. So I think, going into the second half of the year, as far as I'm concerned, it's very good. And, I think we're all doing a good job. That's all I have. I won't get into the individual accounts, that's sort of boring.
Not sort of, it is.
So that's the only comments I have. Questions?
Second.
Beg pardon?
Motion second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Thanks, Dave.
Okay, item number 12, the accounts payable, the general fund, Bureau of Water, sewer fund, refuge and recycling fund. And, motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and second, roll call, please.
Councilmember Brenner?
Just on this, is there anything in there that says Tompkins on it? Yeah, say that's what I didn't even look at it. I'll abstain just to be safe.
Councilmember Stanko?
Yes. Checks.
Councilmember Reimer?
Yes.
Councilmember Vogel?
Yes.
Councilmember Barnett?
Yes.
Councilmember Weinhopper?
Yes.
And Council President Jenks?
Yes. Okay, also in your packet is the tax collector's report, and entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second, all those in favor? Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, at this time, we'll go into public comments on non-agenda items. Are there any public comments on items not on the agenda this evening? Okay, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. We are adjourned. Thank you, one and all.